Good morning, everyone. Sorry for coming on just a little bit late this morning. I am yet again having technical difficulties here in my studio. So this is Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia that you're tuning in to see this morning. And I don't know how many of you follow like astrology and stuff, but my mom sends me my horoscope, my weekly horoscope every Sunday, and I was warned that we're going into Mercury retrograde, which affects all sorts of technology and communication and purchases. And sure enough, this morning I could not get my Facebook to work with my camera in any way, shape, or form. So here we are with my phone again and some poor lighting. So sorry for that. So this morning, I actually am not going to be making my own creation. I am just getting around to playing with the Forever Fern. I made a quick card the other day in my online workshop, and today we're actually going to do a catalog case, only because I was looking at it and I realized that they had done some stuff that I've been playing around with and wanted to keep working with. So one of the things that they did on the card case that I'm going to do is they used the Forever Greenery trim combo pack. And they didn't use the gold trim, which is nice because I've been using too much of that. What they actually used was this lovely linen gauze. And so I'm going to measure out here 10 inches of this gauze and cut that. And I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that old olive ribbon in the catalog. Where did that come from? What dawned on me that they did exactly what I had done with the white crinkled seam binding is they had taken the linen gauze and had colored it with blends. Well, maybe not with blends, but that's what I'm going to use. And so I've got my light old olive blend here, and we're just going to come in and color this. Now this ribbon is a lot thicker than that crinkled seam binding, so I will let you know right now that to color this with the blends is going to require you flipping it and doing both sides, as even though it does bleed through, it doesn't bleed through nicely. So this is going to take a little bit more coloring than that crinkled seam binding did, but we're just going to use these blends here. And so the reason I'm doing this first is because also this is a much thicker ribbon, so it's going to take longer to dry. We're going to be using more alcohol blended ink on it, and it will take longer to dry. So we'll just do this first and then set it to the side, and we're going to play with a bunch of other pieces from the Forever Greenery suite. All right, so just about done. So I am happy to announce that I have completed my report cards for the year. Well, not truly completed, but actually I'm just going to fiddle with my phone for a second here and see if I can get in and leave a comment, because I know that when I do that, then I can actually see your comments. Oh, awesome. Okay, good morning, Janice. Great, now I can actually see your comments. Yeah, so I have officially completed my end of the report cards. They get sent off to my principal this afternoon, and there is my oldest off to get his report card and yearbook and stuff from school. So yeah, it feels so good to have those pretty much done. All right, so there we go. Just gonna do this backside, and the edges as well, I find don't get a very full coverage, and so that we don't have any white there, I am just gonna kind of run this pen along the edge as well. So it's not as quick and easy as coloring the white crinkled seam binding, but again, so versatile because I literally now have this ribbon in every color I could possibly want that I have my blends in, which I think is almost all of them now. I finally placed my order to get my in color ones. So, all right, there we go. So that is all colored. And I'm just gonna, it's not really like leaving ink everywhere, but I am just gonna set it to the side to let it dry. I didn't go all the way to the end because it frays a little bit and I didn't want to get those pieces on my blender pen. Oh, hey Tracy. So we're just doing a catalog case this morning. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to choose some pieces out of the what is this? Forever Gold Specialty DSP. And so what this is you get 3 sheets of like these labels and leaves and stuff like that in the gold foil, and then 3 sheets of like full, like would cover the background kind of thing. And so lots of different patterns and like some nice leaves and stuff. And you can see I've got one missing because that's the one that I've pulled out to use on today's card. And so it's got some really nice pieces there. Hey Ruth, yeah, I just got on. It's been quite the gong show this morning with tech. All right, and then on this piece, there's a whole bunch of leaves, and I am going to pull out this one. Now, this is meant to be more of a, like an accent piece, like a wreath, and to go at the bottom of a circle or something, but I'm actually going to use this one and cut it in half and use it as 2 pieces on the front of my card. Now, realistically, I should probably grab these bigger ones and use those, except I already have another card in mind that I want those for, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to grab that piece, and so I've got 3 of everything on here, so I can make more later if I'd like, but for now I'm going to grab these pieces. Now, you don't want to handle them too much because they do get like a little scuffed up and stuff, so I'm going to try to not touch them too much while we're working on this card. Then I'm going to use a Whisper White card base for this card, and what I've got here is a piece of shaded spruce, and so to create that I actually took one of the 2 embossing folders in the Greenery folder combo, and I just did a large piece. I think I created it 3 inches by 5.5, and I ran it through, and then I'm just going to hold on to this and keep it with my Forever Greenery stamp set, because what I want to do is I just use my scissors and come in here and trim it into little strips, and then use scissors as well to just kind of cut the V, like follow along with the oh, here I've got another strip here I can show you. So I just came in, and with my snips I followed the pattern of the leaf to give me my angle, and just keep going until they meet in the middle. There we go. So I just trimmed that, and then again I'm going to trim it across here so that it fits on my card front. All right, so that's how I created that little piece, and so I'm just going to keep that with my stamp set, so I always have those kinds of accents ready to go and not having to try and line it up and emboss like a single little strip like this. Be a little bit challenging. All right, so now we're going to move on to doing some actual stamping. Well, I just set these, actually I'll cut this in half. There we go. So we'll just set these pieces off to the side for right now. And now I'm going to grab just some scraps to stamp on. So I've just got like little bits of Whisper White here, and we'll see what fits on what. So I've got ink somewhere. I know I pulled up, oh, there it is. I pulled out Shaded Spruce and Old Olive inks for this morning's card. And I'm going to start with kind of like this eucalyptus-y looking one, and it will fit nicely on there. And I'm going to stamp 2 of these. So just ink that up. And so again, when I'm inking, I tap really lightly. I don't want too much ink on here. And then this is my first time using it, so I'm just going to stamp it there. You'll see it's just a really beautiful shaded piece. Now I am going to do mine stamped off, so I've got a really nice light image on here. So gently ink that up, stamp it off, and stamp. And I'm going to do one more of those. And stamp. All right. So put those to the side, and we are going to use our die cuts today that go with this set. And so no fussy cutting to get those all pulled out. Thank goodness. All right, now I'm going to open up my old olive, and I'm going to bring in this beautiful leaf. All right, and we're going to do a similar thing. I'm just going to do a test run on my paper to see how dark this comes out in old olive. And then once off. I think for this one we'll actually keep it its solid, its full color, because although it's dark, it's not too dark, especially when you put it next to that shaded spruce. So we'll do full force old olive. And again, actually maybe I won't do two of those, just one of those. All right, and so one of those. All right, so next step, so I've got more scraps here than I need. I'll put those away. I've got a whole drawer full of Whisper White scraps. And while we're at our stamping, I'm going to grab one more piece. And so again, I just grabbed this out of my scrap drawer, so I don't even know how wide this is. All right, it's 1 inch. You know what, that might be a little too wide. Let's see what else I have in this scrap drawer. All right, so this will be better. This is 3/4 of an inch, and I don't know how long. Doesn't really matter. We're going to stamp first and then cut it. Actually, here, I can measure my stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the image. You can do this, and it'll fit nicely on a 3-inch piece. So I will trim this down to 3 inches so I can line it up straight away. All right, so there's my piece cut down to 3 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to use the shaded spruce to stamp this. So I like doing mine vertically. And I am just going to do this once to see how straight I have it on my block. Oh, actually very good. All right. Okay, so when I line it up, I try and line it up so that I'm not trying to line up my image to be straight, but I'm trying to line up the edge of my block to be straight. And that's often much more successful. Okay. Especially with ones like this, because with the letters going up and down, you kind of have to really work to get the you can do this, like the inside part straight, and not kind of ignore the fanciness. So that can be challenging. So being able to line up just the edge of your block instead is much better. All right, so we've got our you can do this stamped. I can put away my ink so I don't get anything wrecked. All right, next job is to do some die cutting. I was not in the mood the other day when I was doing my workshops to do any die cutting, so we didn't. We made some nice simple stamping, but I'm back into loving my machine, although I'm getting anxious for our new machine to be available. Still no word on dates for that, but it is in the catalog, so it is coming. Oops, I just put that down on top of my paper. All right, so I have, for now, my magnetic plate, a really old cutting board, and I'm going to grab my Forever Flourishing dies. And so here we go. You can see lots of different fun accents that go on their own, and other ones that cut out our images that we're stamping. And so I'm going to grab the two that coordinate with our images for today. And come on. So typically I switch these over and put them onto magnetic sheets inside that case, but I haven't. These are brand new. Haven't got that far yet. All right. So I do love having the magnetic plates because it allows me to line everything up and usually have it stay in place. If it's not cooperating, if those magnets are making it scooch to the side, I just grab a little bit of washi tape to hold the dies in place. All right, and then we're going to do one more pass through because we're doing two of that little eucalyptus one. So pull pull out the images that we got first. Try not to lose them. And we'll do our next run through. All lined up. And we're ready to go. So I'm going to take just a moment right now to put away these dies. Sometimes I get a little lazy and I don't do that, and then I go to use my die set and I cannot find them because they're randomly laying around on my table mixed up with scrap papers and stuff. So I'm trying really hard to get organized and stay organized. Stay organized is the hard part. All right, so put those dies away. And I will move this machine out of our way. Here we go. All right, thank you. Successful mission there. All my die cuts have been put away. All right, now to find all the bits I just cut. Okay, I've got those and those, and then I've got this. So now, in the catalog, I found it very interesting. The card encasing, they actually didn't use the gold side of this image. And I think I can see why, because with the gold on here, the other images get a little bit lost and it gets a little bit busy. So what's kind of cool about these gold images is, although the gold and the laser cut is gorgeous, if you flip it over, you have the same gorgeous image in white, and it has just a slight little view of the gold along the edges, so it kind of stands out white on white. And then when I add these pieces on, they stand out and are just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I am actually not going to use the gold side. Oh, I'm getting messages from school. Claire's cleaning out my classroom. Gotta love that. Oh, the best partner ever. All right, so I have to message her back in a bit. She's cleaning out under our sink, brave woman. So I'm gonna add to these gold pieces. I've got this gold, or not gold, oh my goodness, this green piece to go across. Got my sentiment. But before I do that, I'm gonna grab one more kind of embellishment. This is a part of our Forever Greenery suite as well. It's the gold hoops embellishments, and I've actually never used them, so I'm kind of excited. Okay, come on. So I've got one gold hoop there. It has quite actually a significant weight to it. Like, these would be good for, you know, good 3D, like it's not flexy at all. This is not going to bend on my card and come out of shape. I've actually seen them used to create like little mini dream catchers. Might be a really fun like kids class using some threads and some beads and stuff and doing that. So I'm going to use it on my card today though, and I'm going to use it with glue dots. I think that's going to be our best adhesive for this. I'm saying this, not ever having done it, so let's hope it works. So I'm going to move all these bits away, and I'm going to get started putting things down. So for this piece, I can use glue or mini glue dots, and I think I'm actually going to use, actually, you know what? I think I'm not going to use any of that. I'm going to use some snail on this, and I'm going to get myself just a piece of scrap paper. So I'm going to grab one of my other old sheets here so we can get this all gluey. How many in a package? That's a great question, Janice. I want to say it's 10, but let's just check. Yeah, 10. Quantity 10 before I pull them all out and bore you guys with counting them. So you get 10 of those in a package, and I don't think they were that expensive either. Gold hoops. So they're basically about $1 a piece. They're $10.25 for 10 hoops. So not bad. All right. So there's a few ways you can do this. I've seen people put glue on sponges. which actually, now that I'm saying that, that's actually what I'm going to do. Sorry guys, I keep changing up on what I'm going to use for my adhesive. So you could use snail on the back and have like a little protection there. But I actually have a glue sponge somewhere. What did I do with it? Interesting. At the moment, I cannot find my glue sponge, so I'm going to use one of my paint sponges. So this was just for some shimmery paint. And I'm going to get some glue onto my sponge. You could use a regular sponge as well, not just one of these little sponge daubers. But so I'm going to put some glue straight onto my sponge. And then just start tapping it on. Actually, I'm going to tap it off to the side first to get it a little spread out over my, and then I'm just going to dab, especially along the outside edges. I'm not so concerned about the inside of this image because I'm putting so much stuff on top of it. But I do really want to make sure that the outside of this image stays put. And just a few along the inside. All right. So that made my paper a little bit yucky. I'm going to put that to the side so I don't end up touching that by accident. Now you do definitely want to use a clean sponge dauber for this, because if I'd used like one that had a ton of color on it, I just used shimmery white paint one. But if I'd used one that had a ton of color on it, that color would have come off on what I was sponging. And that would have been no good, since we want this lovely white look to it all. All right. So there you go. Another little trick on how to put down some of these finer things, because of course this one was already laser die cut, so I couldn't use my awesome adhesive sheets. Oh, Catherine, I know this whole Monday thing is just messing me up. I'm doing a case today because, well, I used up all my brain power on report cards this weekend, but also because I realized late last night that, oh my gosh, it's Sunday. I didn't put up my reminder. I totally forgot everything. So I got a little bit of glue there. I'm just going to see if I can find my glue remover easily. I can. Good. So if you don't have a glue eraser, like a white eraser works for this as well. Once that glue gets dry, you just come in there and gently rub that away. All right. So that's on. Now our next step is I am going to adhere this. Actually, no, I'm not. I want that on top of this piece. So this piece I'm going to put down, and I'm just going to use a little bit of glue for this. And I am going to do it so that the little divots, like it divots down, not puffs up when I put this on. So I'm going to make sure that I get some glue on top of the little leaf shape so that it really sticks. And I'm going to put this just slightly below center so that when I put my sentiment on, it'll be more like my sentiment is centered. Okay. There we go. All right. Now it looks like they've done all the leaves first and then the gold hoop. So I'm just going to kind of lay this out and see how this is going to go on. Move these over a bit, move that over, oh come on. I want that more center-ish so that those can go in like that. And then this one's going to come up right nice and close, and like that. And then my gold hoop will go on top of all of it, and that's going to cover up the mess. Oh, I'll put my gold hoop down much lower. Okay, we're going to gold hoop center that and then cover up all the mess of all my stems with my sentiment. Well, that just works nicely, doesn't it? Okay, I'll actually move that up a bit. Okay, so I want all my stems to kind of be above my green strip when I attach this, and that's going to make sure that I hide everything. I'm really glad that I popped in and looked at that. All right, so now we've got our whatever kind of ribbon this is from the Greenery combo that we colored with our light Old Olive blend. We've got that ribbon, and now I'm going to do a really bad job of tying a bow in it. Let's try that again. 2 bunny ears, cross them over, tuck it through, and there we go. Okay, that worked out better. All right. Now this part's just fiddly. You just got to keep playing with it, pulling it back and forth until you get the size and the shape that you are looking for. And sometimes it can take just seconds. Sometimes I have worked on these for like 15 minutes. Just depends on the ribbon and, I don't know, luck, I think, sometimes. All right, just about there on this one. I'm going to puff up those bow sides a bit, soften them up. Now what's nice about this is because it is like gauze, you can kind of like pull on it and get it all tight together, or you can kind of loosen it up. So I'm going to loosen mine up a bit. Oh, come on. All right. There, that's nice. And then I'm going to grab my scissors and trim up the edges. And so now I'm getting rid of those parts that I didn't color as well. So it's all good. And I'm going to pull out any loose ones. I don't mind if the ends of this fray now. I just didn't want it fraying when I was trying to color it because I didn't want those bits sticking to my blend pen. All right, that is going to be awesome. Okay, so all my greenery gets glued down so that it's above my green line so that everything is covered up. Okay, got it. So I am just going to use liquid white glue and just put a bit on the back. Make sure that this stem's going to get under there. So as much as I want that to go up really high, I also want that stem hidden. There we go. And another little layer here. Okay, voila. And then this one is super fun. I might actually go ahead and bring back that scrap paper. And I think for all your gold foil pieces, actually, doing the, oh, there's a bit of glue on here. Put a little bit of glue on there. I think for all your foil gold pieces, doing that little dab of glue is definitely going to be the best option here. It's going to give you the most full coverage of glue without causing too many problems. All right, and again, I want to make sure that that stem is going to be down where my sentiment is going to cover it up. All right, 2 more to go. All right, a little bit of glue. And, oh, I have a child who has just returned with a beautiful yearbook and no report card. Interesting. I'll be done in just a few minutes, Matt, and then I can look at that. No. No? Well, I will look at it without you then. All right. High school does things so differently than elementary schools. Elementary school, we're all just so concerned about getting that report card to families and everything. High school, apparently they're not even though the classes are done, the report cards aren't, and that's how that goes. All right, so when I put this on, I'm going to put it on centered, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glue dots under where this sentiment is going to cover it up. That way I'm not going to have to worry too much about seeing those glue dots holding it in place. In fact, if you're really worried about this not staying in place, you could probably even get away with like actually grabbing some tape and taping it down because nobody's going to be able to see into those spaces. All right, which is, we'll see how well this holds. We'll do a little test here. So this is just too many glue dots holding it in place, and we'll see what happens. Place that, push that down. All right, so actually those mini glue dots are doing a pretty good job of holding it still. So I'm not going to be overly concerned about that. Maybe. You know what? I am. I'm going to be a little bit of a freak. I'm going to make sure this does not move. I'm going to grab a little bit of tear and tape, and I'm not going to take off the one side of tape though, because I know that this is going to be completely covered. I'm going to come in and do that. Let's just make sure, how far is that going to go? Oh, it goes right across. Perfect. You probably don't need to do this. This is probably totally overkill. But you know what? I'd rather have total overkill than have my pieces fall off my card. So there you have it. I just used some tear and tape, didn't take out the other sticky side off to hold that down. And now I'm feeling very confident that this is not going anywhere. All right, now I'm going to grab some dimensionals to put this on. And I'm going to actually use 3. I'm going to use one in the center and one on each end to hold that in place. And I'm going to use the mini ones on the end though, if I can see them. They're across my desk. There we go. All right, so I'm going to use a mini one on each end just to make sure that I'm making it past that hoop. And not going to end up with a dimensional on top of my hoop. All right, peel those off. Cover up all my ugly tear and tape and all the spots where my stems come in. There we have it. And then finally, I'm going to pop this bow on, and for this one I am going to use mini glue dot again, and I'm going to put it right on the back of that knot. Now the other thing I suppose we could have done here is tied it directly onto that ring. That would have made sure that it was going to stay in place and be a lot more secure, but I didn't think of that, and I also think that would be kind of tricky to get it in the right spot with all the other things that we have to line up here. So I'm happy just attaching mine with a mini glue dot and feel confident. Yep, that's going to stay on. So there you have it. That is our final card, and this is totally a catalog case. Now that I'm done, I'll show you, because you probably did not even see it in the catalog. It is hidden right here on page 108. And the card, with such a busy background, I kind of escaped my attention. But then when you go and see it on its own without any kind of distractions, I'm really kind of loving it. So all those little gold accents and everything. Yeah, so that's the card for today. It's on page 108 in our catalog, and it uses that Forever Greenery Sweet collection. Well, a lot of pieces from that Sweet collection, and those hoops are kind of fun. I'm looking forward to playing a bit more with those. So, oh, good morning, Danielle. No worries. I was like, I don't know, Mondays are not my thing, and well, not my thing yet. I'm gonna get used to it. And yeah, having a lot of tech problems this morning. So there you go. So that's our card today, catalog case. And oh, thank you, Ruth. I do love tying bows. I have the patience to sit there and just work at it until it works. So I hope you guys have a fabulous day. I'm going to go try to stay off of technology for the remainder of today because it's not my friend. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I have to go back on later tonight. And any of you who haven't been on to my online workshop group, I did a video there on Saturday morning of 3 cards, and I do have a door prize draw going, and also free embellishment for anybody who places a $60 order using my host code there. I know most of you on this morning are demos, so probably not placing an order, but go check it out. And yeah, you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.